And welcome to episode 8 of the Box Nostalgia podcast with Beerski and PoNGa. What is going on, PoNGa?
Yeah, I'm excited to get back at it. I know we took a little bit of a hiatus, took a week off when we got back from Orlando, but excited to be here recording with you. I think we have a whole lot to talk about, some a little bit different topics to talk about, specifically with our tier list and a segment right after that. So I'm really excited. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I'm excited about what we have too. Yeah, like you said, we took the week off, recovered from Orlando a little bit, getting back into it. We will touch on that a little later in the podcast. But yeah, like I said, excited to be here, excited to start getting into it. So yeah, I think we're gonna start off with our first segment, which is item of the week. What is your item, Mr. PoNGa?
Yeah, so my item of the week is going to copy your first one, I believe. So it is a Neofile. So um, And when we met in Orlando, when I showed up to the Airbnb, I walked into my bedroom and it was sitting on my pillow. I think when you showed this off, I had mentioned that it's one of those items, being a Japanese sealed collector, it's one of those items that isn't very expensive, but it's something that I just have never picked up. So you had gifted it to me. So I really appreciate that. It's holds a special place in my heart. Will be an all-time PC pickup. We'll have it on display when I get everything set up in my new
Right
house.
on.
But yeah, it's awesome. It's got the 3 hollow cards for the fully evolved forms, and then the non-hollow cards for the Gen 2 starters. So Totodile is probably my favorite starter of all time. So it's also special there as well. So
Nice.
yeah, I really appreciate that. I know it's a repeat, but it's very special to me. So I really appreciate it.
You got it, PoNGa. I'm glad glad it's gonna bring you some joy and
Yeah.
be shown off in the house. All right, so I have something a little bit different today than what I normally have, but since it's been talked about, I have the Reese's Puffs Dragon Ball Z holographic limited edition cereal box. There's actually cereal in there. You can hear it. It's ridiculous. I don't know why they put cereal in this box, but they did. It's a cool little piece. I'm going to shout out PK right now because he's the only reason I picked this thing up. It's insane. I think there's some confirmed sales for like 120 on eBay. It was a $40 buy. The hobby be hobbying. I don't know. It's a cool little piece. So yeah, just wanted to show that off.
Do you know how long that was available for?
So when he put it out there, I almost ordered it the first day, and then I didn't order it the second day, and I was like, all right, let me check and see. The third day it was still there, but you can't order them anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was for just a limited time. It was 4 to 6 weeks to ship. To be honest, I forgot about it until I got the email saying that it was coming. So pretty excited about it, actually. Cool little piece. I'll hold on to it until I won't hold on to it anymore. Yes, I don't know if the price continues to go up. I'll probably sell it, but it's cool. I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid. Didn't really like get super into it, but into it enough and watched enough of it to where I like stuff like that. So pretty
Yeah,
fun.
I love Dragon Ball, man. That's
Oh, the
something.
original series.
Yeah, the original one. I watched most of Dragon Ball Super as well, but it didn't hit the same. Something about like the whole Frieza and Cell sagas and all that kind of stuff. That was primetime television when I was a child, especially on like Saturday mornings and stuff.
Yeah, man, dude, the cartoon game back when we were kids is on point. We actually do a cartoon tier one day. That just kind of made me think of that. That's awesome. And I have a second item of the week. This is going to lead us into our next segment too, but I don't know. I made a video for my first video on my YouTube channel, and it was a standalone, like minute something long video, and it was to feature the one of one Oak Nagaba. Here it is. I'm going to show it for the first time on Box Nostalgia Podcast, freshly minted by Professor Oak himself, the wonderful artist of this card. I saw him in Orlando Collecticon. He gave me the biggest hug. It was great seeing him. Way taller than I ever expected Professor Oak to be. What a champ. I'm glad he came out and said hi. I definitely thank him for signing that for me. That is going to be a PC piece forever for me. I love it. Won it on a free giveaway on his Discord. So just we'll always have that. It's very awesome. So thank you again, Professor Oak. And I think that is going to lead us into Orlando Collecticon. So, dude, Orlando Collecticon. What were your thoughts, takes on everything? Was it a great selling Collecticon for you? Was it a better buying, trades? what was like the best thing, Pokemon wise, fun wise, all that stuff?
Yeah, so I'll just start off. I flew in Thursday night, met up with you. We got to hang out that night, got some drinks and stuff, got some dinner.
Yes,
And then
sir.
we met up with everyone. Well, not everyone, a lot of people at a bar for lunch
BJ's.
Friday. Yeah, BJ's. For lunch, had some beers there, some IPAs. I know Greeny had a few IPAs while we were there. And then we
Greeny was
ended up,
harnessing his inner Dan.
yeah, all the people that were there, we ended up and went to go hang out at the pool at the Hilton. Hung out there for a few hours and grabbed some dinner and called it a pretty early night. But yeah, Saturday it was getting to Collecticon. Shout out to Pokestone. He drove us there. He was great all weekend, making sure me and you got along or got around that area and got along. He is just
That's funny, dude.
we kind of made him break out of his shell a little bit after a little bit when he realized how immature we are and our sense of humor, how we both are when we're with each other. And like he said, I think on your channel last week, we kind of have a good dynamic where we bounce off each other, even though you wouldn't necessarily expect it.
Yeah, the odd
but
couple.
yeah. And then Saturday, it was super busy. There was a ton of people there. Unfortunately, I just think our section was in the worst place possible. So we were kind of surrounded by Zion, Jason Page, and then the big stage where they do all the concerts.
He literally had his booth right in front of us. I got to stare at his cutout all weekend long.
Yeah, and I know some people from other sections had said like they didn't even know there was a section there for tables because it was behind basically like the Zion booth and the stage and stuff. So, it's kind of hard to know that there's even vendors there and it's not just another company table or section. With that said, I did a lot of buying and I think you witnessed that.
Yes.
I was basically buying any card that came to my table. And funny enough, the only things I was able to sell were the things I bought. Most of the stuff I brought, which were stuff like PSA 10 alt arts, all that kind of stuff. Some of the lesser Pokemon did not sell at all. I did pretty well with my binder, no buyouts or anything, but did pretty well there. But I did really, really well on buying, somewhere around 70 to 80% for most stuff. If I learned one thing, it's I need to always have Giratina in my case because Japanese sold, English PSA 10 sold, and I got asked about it about 10 more times. Was able to.
Here. I moved to Giratina as well.
Yeah, I don't want to go too long-winded, but let you talk a little bit.
No,
But
go.
Yeah, so Saturday did pretty well, and then Sunday was a lot less crowded, I think. And for whatever reason, it must have been the location of my table within the section. There was like a 2 to 3 hour span where not a single person stopped at my table. Like didn't even stop, couldn't talk to anyone. No one even looked in the direction. So was lucky enough, Dan, Catch 'em All Collectibles, consigned some cards with me, where was able to move a lot for him. So really appreciate that opportunity, Dan. I know he took care of me on the side, even though I didn't really charge him anything. But yeah, overall, pretty good trip. I know I made the joke afterwards that I was never going to travel to a Collecticon ever again. But yeah, I mean, fun-wise, it's just unmatched, right? I mean, people I don't always get to talk to, like Collectibles Warehouse, was able to get in a Uber back to the airport with him, got to chat a little bit about him, or a little bit with him.
Yeah, he's great.
It was just a good weekend. We got to spend a ton of time together, which was awesome. We got to stay in that Airbnb together. So overall, good weekend. Trying to look into making my way to New Jersey now. I know I backed out of it at first, but with a place to stay for most of that weekend, it's hard to pass up because the expenses aren't that high besides the plane ride and the table. So
yeah,
and I have a bunch of unsold inventory that I didn't sell in Orlando. So trying to get to another event where I don't have to wait till Chicago to sell a lot of that stuff in case prices drop is pretty key to me right now. I also didn't mention I brought a lot of like old black and white or heart gold and soul silver blisters. Those all sold as well, which was really awesome.
Yeah, those were cool seeing those.
Yeah. Probably one of the only people with that kind of stuff there. So really happy I moved those. Those were in my personal collection for a very long time and decided to part with those because I do have loose packs of those already. So yeah, overall great weekend. Got to spend time with a lot of great people. Spend time with people I don't normally get to spend time with. So it was really good.
Right on.
Shout out to Ray as well. Him and his family brought us lunch one of the days.
Yeah, dude.
His son was running around selling stuff for Brad.
He was shaking and moving for Brad, man.
Vending next to Brad was a lot of fun. Brad's hilarious. The comments he makes. I always love being able to see Larry and everyone else in our section. So
yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Speaking of Larry, shout out to Larry and Fuji-san Cards, but he opened up a pack of Divorced Dads.
Yeah.
The Court of Chaos. And this is the fourth beer. I had him sign it for me. Very nice dude. Larry's a GOAT. I'm super excited to see him in Jersey. He seems to travel to quite a few of these things. So that's awesome. So I flew in Wednesday, met with my mother. We went to Universal Studios and Universal Studios Island of Adventure. I got to live out a childhood dream of walking around Diagon Alley, which was freaking fantastic. If you haven't been there and you like the Harry Potter series, go. I got on one ride, I think, and that was Hogwarts Express. Shout out to BB for giving me the lowdown of where to go, how to go. He suggested that if rides were less than, I think, 90 minutes to stand in one line to get onto the Hagrid ride, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know why. That's just a long time to stand in line. I know there's a lot of interactive stuff going on too, but maybe next time I'll go. I got there a little late, so it would have been nice to just like get in, hit everything I wanted to hit, and then walk around. But we didn't get there till about 11 a.m. So that was awesome. Both the parks are very cool. Did a couple rides. It was great seeing my mother. Got to the Airbnb. Huge lake behind the Airbnb. Sunsets every night. Pong and I watched the fireworks from Disney.
Yeah, we were able to see the fireworks,
which is awesome. Right over the lake, so it was lighting the lake up. It was over top. That was very cool. I think that was Saturday. Is that Friday night or Saturday night? That was Friday night because we were pricing cards out for the next day. Thursday, PoNGa comes in, hung out. I kind of meandered around most of Thursday. I went into iDrive, as they call it down there, International Drive. Checked out a couple of things, had lunch at the pub, which is like a British themed place. Then PoNGa came. We went to Miller's Ale House. Like you said, had some drinks. Had the big red sandwich. What's it called?
Yeah, it's a big red. It's a big spicy chicken sandwich.
Oh, it's delicious too. So good. Had a couple Voodoo Rangers. They were good. Then like you said, Friday we went to BJ's, hung out with everyone. The Greenshas actually brought the Tag 10 graded Creatures deck Zapdos, Rocket Zapdos, which was awesome to see in hand.
I forgot to mention he consigned a card with me too, so shout out to him.
He did.
Appreciate that opportunity. He put some cool black labels in my case that drew some attention, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, he put like $15,000 worth of stuff into your case, dude. It was wild. So that was cool. And then we hung out, like I said, went to the pool. Was in the pool for like 3 hours, drank a ton of margaritas that day. Then we went to Red Lobster. We're sorry, chef, that we did it. It did happen, though. Margarita flights, very good. Saturday selling. I had a good time vending. I love vending and talking to everyone. Like PoNGa said, it's great seeing all the homies in the hobby. It was good walking around. I met Ernie for the first time in person. Jake Smith. I met Thrifty before, but very briefly, so it was like nice actually meeting Thrifty. Met Dan. Well, I've met Dan before, but met Dan's wife, which was super nice. I met Ray's family. It was a great thing. Shout out Ray for getting that whole section together, the two sections. Super awesome. Keep everyone together. Sales wise, though, I feel like I'm going to echo kind of what PoNGa said. I didn't do as well as I thought I was going to do. Or maybe I had too lofty of goals, or I didn't bring what people wanted. I think that's kind of what it comes down to. So it's kind of had me reassess what I'm going to be bringing to these things moving forward. It seems like these liquid alt art cards are what moves at these shows, graded wise.
High end,
like $500 and more. Like people were literally, PoNGa put the one card in his case, and then 20 minutes later it was gone. Like people were just coming around and sniping those high end PSA 10 alt arts. It was wild to watch what he was doing. At one time, I think he had like 4 or 5 trades in a row come up. It was just like, it was like watching Rain Man, like going down the elevator, man. He
I
was
ran out of
cards,
cash.
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, PoNGa ran out of cash.
I had to borrow cash because they wouldn't take digital payment. So it was, it's if you start shelling out money, people will start flocking to you.
Yeah, so that's something I've learned too now, just watching that. And again, all learning experiences, constantly learning, trying to figure it all out. But yeah, the days of the $40 to $60 PSA 10 slabs are over for Beerski. I can't do it anymore. This doesn't make sense. All the money held up in grading fees, like it starts to add up, and it starts to like really cut into your ability to buy anything. So just got to be more aware of what I'm doing there. Sunday was cool.
We didn't mention we went out to dinner with everyone Saturday.
Literally where I was going right now. Cabo Libre, I think was the name of it. Really awesome. Like I think it's a Cuban themed eatery. Pretty cool. There was like 20 of us there. Excuse me, big long table. Pokestone sat across from me. My friend Aaron sat next to me, PoNGa. Some of the Spicy Boys came out. Ray's family was there. Your Average Player, Greeny, Brad. I know I'm forgetting people.
Yeah, wait. DNA. Shout out to Your Average Player was like wheeling and dealing for his own stuff, but I can't every half hour he would come by, see if we needed anything. See if we needed
he was
help.
Great.
Yeah, he was
Norwegian
awesome.
chocolate.
Yeah, he was fun making fun of at the restaurants about not ordering fries and ordering vegetables.
Steamed vegetables.
Yeah, we got the whole wait staff to kind of make fun of him a little bit. But yeah, he was awesome as well. Really happy I got to meet him.
Yeah, he kept coming up and showing me awesome stuff that he was picking up at the show. So it's cool. Like, I'm really excited to walk the next one. Like Jersey, I'm not vending. I just want to walk it. Got a lot going on that weekend. That's going to be fun to walk. I want to try and do a lot of picking up of raw there. I think there's going to be a ton of raw. Just like I said, just where everyone is and like where you're located in New York, Philly, DC, Baltimore, everything is going to be here. So it should be a pretty good time. So then, we had the awesome dinner, went back to the place. Pokestone drove us back. He's a gem. Picked us up the next morning, brought us back to the convention center. I vended till about 2. And then Poke DNA actually gave me a ride back to the airport because he had to drop his car off. So we rode there together, which was awesome. We had a quick little bite to eat and a drink before we got on the planes. I don't know, a little Mexican joint inside the airport south of the border. I don't know what the hell it was called. But it was fun. It was cool sitting down, talking to him, getting to know him this weekend too.
That was awesome. Getting to talk to him for sure.
Getting to talk to him was really cool. He was one of the 3 to 4 pool floaters. I was one of them. We were just kind of chilling around in the pool. And it was just good getting to meet him, talk to him. And it was super nice of him to give me the ride back because as PoNGa learned, that was a $40 Uber ride back and forth to the airport from where we were. So that was nice saving that. So shout out Poke DNA. You're the man. I got to text you soon to get you on It's Beer O'Clock. Shameless plug. So yeah, that was my weekend, dude. First time I flew since 2017. Hate airplanes. So I get you old card shop. I understand. I got lucky though. I got the extra leg room for like $25 and less than $25 both ways. So that was nice being able to stick your legs all the way out. It's definitely worth it for someone that's as tall as me. And now I'm booking flights all over the place, going to Charlotte, Chicago, Puerto Rico. I'm a man traveling. I'm going to Boston in 2 weeks. I usually drive. I'm going to fly. Why not? That's so much better. I don't have to worry about a damn thing. So going for it. So Go Pokemon Hobby got me out of the weird plainness. Like my friend was like, he texted me, he goes, I just want to punch you. Like I've been telling you to do this for years. What are you doing, man? So yeah, finally got over that. So all right.
Awesome.
So that was Collecticon Orlando 2024 for us. I think we're gonna hop into our next segment, which is, like he said, it's gonna be a little bit different this week, but we're doing tier list Game of Thrones seasons plus Hot D, which is House of the Dragon season 1. Really looking forward to this one. Here we go. Yeah, Game of Thrones, man. What can I say?
Yeah, before we start, at this point, I don't know if there needs to be a spoiler warning for some of the stuff we talk about, but Game of Thrones has been concluded for
5 years now, I think.
5 years now. So if you don't want to hear anything about the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones, this is your time to click off the video and then return back after the tier list. And then House of the Dragon, I'll put another spoiler alert out there when we start talking to that one. Season 2 does come out next week, so we thought it'd be really, we do think it'd be very fitting to talk about it. I actually just rewatched that for another time before season 2 comes out, so if you don't want to hear anything there as well, totally understand, and maybe put it on mute or come back later after the tier list to listen to the rest of the episode. But just wanted to put that out there before we get started, because I know people might get pretty heated if they don't know spoilers are coming.
Yeah, definitely spoilers are coming, but it's worth it. I love all the spoilers.
So when I first watched Game of Thrones, I knew most of what happened. So I didn't watch it until right before season 8 came out. So I knew
I envy that though.
Yeah, well,
binge all of that stuff.
So so I had I got hired full time at my company, and there was 6 weeks until I started, so I binged it for 6 weeks basically, because it's meaty. There's a lot to digest. My wife, my girlfriend at the time, I would always talk to her, try to figure out what was going on, who was who they're talking about. But yeah, I mean, the bad part about that is I knew some of the big events were going to happen, and they weren't a surprise to me. One of the best parts of Game of Thrones is anyone can die, for the most
part.
Jon Snow. Well, for the most part, and you don't know when it's going to happen and who's going to prevail at the end. So knowing some of the things that take place, like the Red Wedding, kind of ruins it a little bit, but it's still phenomenal television. So with that said, I'll allow you to nominate the first season in our tier list. And I will say again, I did not read the books, so I'm going solely based off the show. And I also want to acknowledge that every season has super important things that happen within them. And I'm rating them solely off how I enjoyed them. And there are certain characters that I think a lot of people like that I do not like. So that's also plays into my rankings, as some of those characters are more prevalent in certain seasons compared to others.
If Ramsay Snow is not your favorite character, I don't know what you're doing.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take, dude. What a creep, man.
All right, sucks.
I'm gonna go ahead and just. I'm gonna say
it starts at season 1 here and goes up to season 8, and then House of Dragon.
All right, I want to do the best season of Game of Thrones first, season 4. Season 4 is badass. First of all, my main man Oberyn, the Viper, comes, the Red Viper. He's played by Pablo Pascal, who's been, he's in The Mandalorian. He was in
Pedro.
Oh, Pedro Pascal. Sorry, I said Pablo, didn't I? What a jerk. Yeah. Pedro Pascal. He's in The Mandalorian. He's in oh man, I just The Last of Us. Quite a few other movies that have been really awesome recently. He played that character to the T. That being someone that's read the books, listened to the books on tape multiple times, listened to all the ancillary stories too, like Fire and Blood, Night of the Seven Kingdoms stories, which are really cool. I can't wait for them to bring them to HBO. But he killed it. The episode, The Mountain and the Viper, is one of the best, most shocking episodes if you don't know what's coming. Just everything. The Tyrion's trial, the next episode, is fantastic. That's some of the best acting from any character in any seasons of Game of Thrones. Peter Dinklage absolutely fucking destroys it.
Yeah, he does.
He really does. Then you have the battle for Castle Black, Watchers on the Wall. That's episode 9. That's one of the best, most intense battle scenes in the series. It's well done. You get every piece you want. Jon Snow loses his love Ygritte, which is horrible. freaking Ollie. What a little shit. I hate that kid so much too. Um, he kills the Then, the Then Magnar, which is awesome. Just he crushes it. The whole season's badass. I really enjoy it. I'm a bigger fan of the Night's Watch storylines, and like the Seven Kingdoms storylines over like the Marine storylines, which is like Daenerys and stuff. So I really thought that these shined. Although she breaks the chains in this one. Becomes Misa. So like this is like the big culmination of the first 3 seasons. I feel like this was like the crescendo for the first 3 seasons, and then it kind of lulls a little bit the next season. But I think season 4 hits everything you want. Big battle, lots of intrigue, tons of fun stuff. It doesn't overdo the sands, the Martells like the next season does. But yeah. So what do you think about this season, dude?
Yeah, I mean, you forgot one big event that happens that kind of weighs on Cersei for the next 4 seasons is her son.
Oh, Joffrey,
Joffrey
the purple
killed.
wedding, Joffrey getting killed. Yeah, dude, best scene ever.
Yeah, for people that have not watched the show and have no interest, he is like, if you could imagine the worst. The actor does a really good job, but like the most brat, like I don't even know how to. The worst character, like just evil, terrible to everyone, whiny, and this little kid basically becomes king, and he's just a whiny little brat, and no one likes him. Even his mom kind of says that he's not good.
Uncontrollable.
Uncontrollable. So he dies, which is obviously huge, and then his younger brother's named King. And then it's kind of like that other part of the season where you mentioned it, where the battle at Castle Black, where Stannis kind of comes in, Stannis Baratheon kind of comes in and basically wins that battle for them. But I mean, it's not my favorite season. It does have, I'd say, it's probably the season that the most significant things do happen. Multiple different groups of people kind of come together. I do. You did forget that Tyrion kills his dad, Tywin. Who?
Oh yeah, after the trial, he strangles.
So I don't know. It might be a hot take. I don't know how people feel about him, but I love Tywin.
Tywin's the best. He's the best character. Well, he steals the first 4 seasons.
Yeah,
just how he acts, how cool and calculating is. Like he's awesome.
Yeah, I was just talking to my wife about this at dinner before this because we were talking about. She's watched the show like 5 or 6 times through, and knows basically everything. But I was talking how he basically is like ruling the kingdom, basically basically tells Joffrey one time to go to bed and sends him to bed. And all this stuff.
Not tired.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, the kid has a hissy fit right there. The king is tired. He needs a nap.
And then the only other thing on this season is Arya does make her way to the Faceless Men. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah. So the Hound fights Brianna Tarth, which is awesome. I mean, so these seasons are so big, and it's hard. It's hard.
I had to watch a 30-minute summary on every season because a lot of like these middle seasons kind of blend together. Like season 1 is very distinct, season 8 is very distinct, and like anything between like season 3 to 6 is like one big blend of like, when did this happen?
Yeah. So, and I said I didn't think that at first, and after you said it to me, and then I started going through and like remembering everything. It really is. So what are you ranking this season?
Wait, what? You didn't put it? Did you say yours?
No, I didn't yet.
So it's not my favorite, but so it's hard, right? Because the significance of the season is definitely up there. I don't know. I'm kind of in the B or A range. Okay. I'm kind of leaning more towards B.
Okay. That's fine. I'm going to throw it in S tier. That's my S tier season. I really do love that season. It's so good.
Now with that said though, real quick, like as soon as House of the Dragon 2 is done or during it, I'm actually going to be rewatching Game of Thrones. So there's like the minor details and like when you watch like videos that just kind of summarize this season. Like you miss like some of the interactions that aren't necessarily verbal. My wife always talks about it, like specifically like with Littlefinger in the whole show, like just watching his facial expressions and how he looks at people and how he's scheming and all that kind of stuff. You miss on that kind of stuff. So, maybe this season's A or S for me, but just off like my first impression, I'd probably put it in B.
All right, right on. I like it. All right, you get to choose the next.
All right. Season. So then I'm gonna probably go with my. Oh man. I think I'm gonna go with. I'm just looking at what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do season 8.
Okay.
So I don't know. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I don't mind how the show ended. I'm kind of in the realization that they had to conclude it somehow, right? And it might not necessarily be what everyone likes, but unfortunately, I think personally, no matter how the show ended, there was all these like fan fiction stuff that was being made up. And unless your favorite ending wasn't how it ended, you would probably be mad.
Yeah.
Like I know all the things with like who kills the Night King.
Well, that was.
Yeah, but like I get it, right? But they still made it look cool. And I
was hyped that entire episode until that moment. I was like, what the breeze in the White Walker's hair, and it's like she's that, like they just wiped out every human in the world and she kills the guy. Like
but that's what she's been training for the past 8 seasons or 6 seasons, I should say.
Yeah.
And like I think what really elevates season 8, because it is a little bit shorter of a season for me, is the back-to-back episodes that leads up to the Battle of Winterfell. I think those are the 2 best episodes in the entire season. The episode prior to the Battle of Winterfell, they're all preparing basically to die.
Yeah, Night of the
and
Seven
then Podrick
Kingdoms.
starts that song, and
Jenny
it just
Goldstones.
Yeah, the way it makes you feel is just, you can't compare it because you just know everyone's about to die. And they realized it too, which is pretty. I don't even know the word to describe it, but it just like it tears at you and you feel for everyone. And you don't know what's going to happen either. And then the Battle of Winterfell itself is probably the best episode of television I've ever seen. I had to watch it multiple times back to back. The way they made the dragons look above the clouds.
Dude, I was just about to mention that shot with the moon in the back, and they're just floating.
Yeah, they blew their whole budget on that episode, and I'm really glad they did. And it was kind of like the whole show is, yes, it's the Game of Thrones, right? Who's gonna be the king or queen, right? But it's also fighting off the undead, right? Yeah. So it's kind of it's that culmination point where it's like, oh my god, the battle's here and everyone's gonna die. That episode just, people complained it was too dark. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to know what's going on. It's supposed to be hectic.
Yeah,
it is just crazy good. And then after that, you could feel how you want to feel with the ending. And I won't go into that in case there's people that don't want to know, but I will also say Bran's the worst television character of all time, and him being king is a travesty.
A lobotomy for the last 2 seasons.
Well, he's got so much knowledge that he's not basically a human anymore. But yeah, I think it's my favorite just from like the visual aspect in those 2 episodes alone. I'd say the season up until after the Battle of Winterfell is probably like unmatched.
Okay.
So that's S tier for me. Unpopular opinion.
Okay, S tier. I like it. So I won't say S tier. I did enjoy this season. I said before, I think to you, I may have even said it here. I think the character development in season 8 was a little off-putting for me. Grey Worm kind of turned into a bagger towards the end. I get it, like you're following your queen's orders, but I just there's some things I think Daenerys's trip into insanity was a little forced, a little quick. I just, obviously you have 6 episodes. There's whole armadas moving between one episode to another around the bottom tip of Westeros and to King's Landing. So it's a little fast paced. So you lose a lot there. I know that George R. R. Martin, who is the author.
No, I lied. I'm putting this in A tier.
Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry.
George R. R. Martin, who's the author of the series, gave the showrunners like an overview of how the season was going to end, or series was going to end. They said it was going to be bittersweet, or he said it was going to be bittersweet years before this came out. It was very bittersweet. Jon Snow got the shaft hard at the end, but I think he's ultimately happier where he is, and it opens up a whole nother. I guess they're shooting the Snow series right now, or they're going to. It's in pre-production or whatever. I'm very excited about that. Love the wildlings, love their culture, love more Tormund's Giantbane. Like, you really like when he stares at Brienne Tarth at the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, like, and just smile. Like, I love it. It's just so good. Yeah, like you said, that episode where they're all together is a very powerful, awesome episode. Another culmination moment where all these people from every storyline is now together in one thing. It's the first time Jaime Lannister
all united. It's an all united battle, right? They all unite.
First time Jaime Lannister's been back there since he pushed Bran out the window. He saw Bran, so like it's a good season. Like I said, a little fast paced. The composer of this series, and I can't say his name for the life of me, absolutely killed it with the Long Night episode. That music, like, I will listen to that music and get goosebumps talking about it right now. There's 2 episodes in particular, this episode and I think an episode in season 7. Yeah, he just kills it. His music's so good. It's done so well, put together extremely well. So this season, he's given an A. I think that this is, and it's hard. Like, I don't think I'm going to have any D or Y tiers because I do enjoy this like series so much. I'm going to put it, I'm going to put it in B. So you can stick it between A and B.
Yeah, it doesn't deserve the hate it gets.
No, it doesn't. And I said that when it came out too, and people looked at me half-cocked also, like, what do you mean? Like, it's so bad. Like, yeah, Jon Snow kills Daenerys. It was gonna happen. The throne had the writing was on the wall.
People need to realize, like, go watch the series, and as the seasons go on, Daenerys' face, the look in her eyes change. And then you also need to realize she's a Targaryen, and I'll leave it there.
Incest is a horrible thing, and it makes people crazy.
Her brother was crazy. They showed that at the beginning of the show. Like, once you get that sense of power.
Yeah, Viserys was a little prick. That guy was he was a prick for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh man. All right. Next.
And just so everyone knows, we took a lot of notes on the season, so that's why we keep looking down. So
yeah, it's a lot. There's a ton going on here. All right. Let's see. What season do I want to do? Let's go season 1. Eddard Stark, my man. Maybe one of the most foolish characters in Game of Thrones history.
You want to be too good, right?
Definitely, yeah. You can't be on the total good side and live in that world. And he tried doing it, and he got screwed for it. Season opens up, doesn't even go to the, to the south, to where, King's Landing or Lannisport or Dorne. It starts at the wall. They go through the wall. It's the first time you see the White Walkers. It's pretty cool how they do it. It follows the book pretty well. In the book, it's wild when they first do it. It's the whole first chapter. The way that the author describes everything is so cool. So if you haven't read the books, please do. That man describes food better than any person on the planet. He makes you hungry every time you listen to it. But yeah, dude, Robert Baratheon, awesome. He was gonna shit himself at one point, which is great. I love that. You meet all the characters. You see Tyrion for the first time. You see Theon Greyjoy for the first time, who's cocky and arrogant, and ends up catching up to him later in the series. You get a good shot of who's good and who's evil and who you're supposed to like. Obviously, the Lannisters are doing some weird Lannister stuff in Towers. Let's see. there's a lot of intrigue. This is a more slow season for sure. It's definitely a lot of buildup. There's not a lot of big battle scenes or anything in it. It's very like politically charged. Lot of small dialogue
I
points
think it's like
that.
it's the whole buildup of like the North against the Lannisters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Joffrey gets bitten by a wolf and then basically wants to kill everyone.
Yeah.
And then, ultimately Ned thinks he's above everyone and tells everyone that Joffrey's a bastard child, and then basically pays the ultimate price. And I was
himself beheaded.
Yeah, I was rewatching the summary, and I think I always talk down about season 1 because of how boring it is at times. But I was rewatching like when he's going out there to his death, and Joffrey basically promises Sansa that they were going to spare him, and then he basically goes and asks for his head. And so,
yes, Sir Ilian, bring me his head.
Yeah.
And then you got Varys, the Queen, and Sansa, and Littlefinger all being like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, and then Arya is right there watching it happen.
Yeah. With Yoren, the Night's Watch guy, which is awesome.
Cuts off all of her hair and sneaks her out. I'm just looking. Yeah, I think that really covers it. It's really just the buildup of
Jon Snow
right?
Jon Snow goes to the wall. Tyrion pees off the wall. There's a lot of good Tyrion banter in the first season. I think he maybe is my favorite character, Tyrion Lannister. I love him. I think he's great. He flirts the line with good and evil, but ultimately he's a good dude. I guess if you could say that. He's really not a good dude, but he's a good dude. I like him in the books too. He's pretty evil, cool, and a good dude. I don't know.
Yeah, and this is the other really important thing that happens is Sansa's kind of left by herself almost with Joffrey, basically having to marry him, right? Or going to marry him. So
being betrothed, it's crazy.
Arya's gone. Robb, all of them aren't there with her, and then obviously the dad's killed. So pretty interesting there, and plays a pretty significant part in what happens for the rest of the story.
It's a good build up. Like you said, it's not the best season. And actually, the more I think about it now, like I probably rank the season a little bit lower than most of the others.
There's no, I mean, it's just
no, and
it's probably the most significant season because you kind of understand what's going on, and if you go watch it back, the people they talk about, you have no idea what they're talking about the whole time. So, it just. When you compare it to the other seasons, it's just action-wise, or you see what happens later on. It's just not as cool. There's no dragons yet.
No dragons. And like the biggest battle is when I guess it's the Dothraki running around and killing the Landmen. Like that's probably the biggest thing you see. Oh yeah, Khal Drogo's in it, like kicking ass, being awesome. Like it just introduces all the characters. Like you said, Viserys is a prick, and he's being a prick. Jorah Mormont. It just it's a good stepping stone. But I'm gonna give it a C.
Is season 1 or is it season 2 where the dragon eggs hatch?
It's the end of it's the last episode of season 1.
Last episode, that's
when he's killing. She kills Mira Mazdul. Said she's not gonna scream, and then she goes, "Oh, you will." She screams. Spoiler alert! There's screaming.
That was an awesome scene as well. The dynamic between Khal Drogo and Daenerys is pretty interesting as well, where they kind of change each other if you really think about it. So so you said C. I'm probably at C as well.
Okay,
that's a good ranking. I think somewhere around B or C I think is pretty fair. All right, I'm gonna do House of the Dragon because
fresh on the mind.
This is just, I like this show better than Game of Thrones so far. It is S tier.
It just gets better.
So it's S tier. Rhaenyra is an awesome character. I love how I think it's like episode 4 they kind of go forward in time, and there's a completely different actress or different actors and actresses for all the characters, or really Alicent and Rhaenyra, and they look very similar.
Yeah.
which is awesome. Yeah, I don't know. Rhaenyra is like one of my favorite characters in any show ever, and then I think Daemon might be my favorite TV character of all time.
Dude,
He is nasty. You love him, you hate him, you wonder why he does what he does. But if you really think about it, you kind of understand being the king's brother, kind of being second fiddle your whole life. Yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. If you like dragons, it has a ton of dragons. It has a lot of gory birthing scenes, which I think are
Oh yeah, that was
there's
horrible.
multiple, and yeah, it's a lot happens in whatever 8 or 10 episodes, whatever it is. And I just can't wait till season 2. It's must watch TV in my opinion, and it is definitely my favorite Game of Thrones world season by far. I think it's by far too.
Okay. I mean, I love it. What's not to love? I just I love how the beginning of it opens up with a little bit of history about House Targaryen and how Jaehaerys, the old king, has to choose Viserys over Rhaenys, who is she's like the eldest child of the son of the king who died. It's just done very well. I love anything that feels medieval or any of that kind of stuff, and they do the costume design's fantastic. The characters they picked for these guys are fantastic. Like the Lannister, the pompous Lannister, they does it perfectly. Such a good job. I mean, they introduce, I mean, the Bracken and the Blackwoods, the Blackwood kids stabbing the Bracken to death was awesome. There's just so much good stuff. You have Aemon Targaryen too. He's awesome. Aegon too. It just, there's so much. And again, this was a setup. Sir Criston Cole, the Kingmaker, and there's just so much stuff in this season as well. But it's done so well. Daemon steals every scene he's in. He's the scene where they're the gold cloaks and they're wiping up all the people in the city, and he's calling this guy's mongrels and dogs and like amping them up. I love it.
Yeah, and they basically tell you how many years before like the events of Game of Thrones happen, which is really nice to kind of put perspective on the universe. And then they have like stuff from Game of Thrones, right? Like Arya's daggers in the show and plays a pretty significant role in the show.
Cat's paw, I think it's
Cat's paw dagger. Yep. And just man, Rhaenyra and Daemon are just
something else, dude. And it gets like I said, it only gets wilder. I've read.
We don't talk about what happens next.
I'm not going to talk about anything. Believe me, those are spoilers I won't release. But if you thought that season 1 was good, season 2 is probably going to blow your socks off, dude. It's going to be awesome. So I will rank this an A. Solid A. It's a good season. I think they did it very well. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to when they do A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. That's going to be really good. Hopefully that comes to fruition sooner or later. I think everyone will really enjoy that. All right. Let's see. Which season do I want to go with? Let's go season 7.
Oh, I'm clicking it on the wrong screen.
That's all right.
There we go.
So season 7 is a pretty good season also.
I think it's very good. Go ahead.
I think this is the season, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the season where Jon finally goes to Dragonstone. Jon finally meets Daenerys. All that shit happens. I was so amped for all that. They find the paintings in the caves under Dragonstone where all the
it's also Daenerys returns the Westeros for the first time. Dragonstone for the first time in the show. So, but then Jon does come meet her.
Yeah, he comes. Theon Greyjoy shows up. Jon wants to beat the shit out of him. There's heartfelt moment between the two of them where Jon forgives him and says, "You've always been a Stark." It's like good stuff like that. I'm a big Theon fan. I think even though he sucks through most of it, he really at the end once he saves Sansa in season 6, he's just badass. This is also the season where Cersei blows up the chapel, correct? I think this is that season as well. Yeah, the Queen's no. Oh yeah, the Queen's Justice. That's season 7, episode 3. Or am I missing something?
Wait, here? What did you say she does?
6? When she blows up Baylor's.
Yeah, that's season 6 where she blows it up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this season, Dany's army goes and takes Casterly Rock. They realize that.
The
Lannister army is not there.
You're right.
The Lannister army went to Hightower.
Highgarden.
Highgarden. And
the Queen of Thorns drinks the poison.
Yeah,
Jaime Lannister's badass.
Basically tells Jaime that she killed Joffrey.
Yeah. I want Cersei
which
to know.
This whole time they thought that Tyrion did it.
Yep.
And then I also put Arya and Bran return to Winterfell in this season, so that's pretty significant. So they're really their first time back there. And then Dany agrees to fight for the North.
Yeah,
and she goes and burns the Lannister army basically, and has a split second there where Drogon's shot with the arrow or the spear. And she the scorpion, and then she pulls it out or goes to pull it out. Jaime comes charging at her. Yeah.
This is when Jon also takes it's Jon Snow, Gendry. I'm gonna name them on here. The Hound,
Tormund,
Beric Dondarrion, and Thoros of Myr.
Yeah,
and then a couple other no-name characters that just get eaten by a big scary dead bear. They go to capture the undead guy. The Syrian dies.
Yeah,
that's brought back. That's something I don't like about it, though. Like that dude, that javelin throw that my man has to kill the dragon was insane. I wish that would have happened a little differently. But
it's so significant. I mean, that's
so significant.
It's the weapon they need to bring down the wall, right?
Yeah. So it's they take their time doing it. That was done very well. Anything behind the wall, again, I'm such a big fan. And that's what a whole bunch of them met up. Like when they meet in the dungeons of Winterfell or the dungeons of Castle Black, wherever they are, and Thoros and, Beric Dondarrion and Gendry and all of them are there. It's awesome. The Hound is great. Love the Hound. Oh, man, we talked about season 8. We didn't even talk about Clegane Bowl.
Yeah,
like there's and again, everything just kind of melds together.
And then season 7 also opens up. So at the end of season 6, Arya kills Walter Frey, who was on her list. And then the beginning of season 7, you see Walter Frey talking to basically the whole House Frey, and then turns out that it's actually Arya, and she poisons all the men. And then I think she says something like "Winter has come for House Frey" or something like that, which is just the most badass line ever.
It's so corny.
she just wipes out the entire house in a split second. So, it's season 7's really good, like action packed. Not necessarily love everything that happens, like you said, the Night King having the greatest javelin throw of all time, but
I mean. I'm just trying to see one more thing.
And then Dany comes in and saves them, right?
She saves everyone, and then they all meet at the end in the dragon pit, where they all decide that they're going to now fight the threat that's going against Westeros, which is the undead army. Cersei lies. Jaime can't believe it. She says she'll have him killed. And he said, "I don't believe you." And he walks away. And it's awesome. Like Jaime's arc is so good. And again,
he's meant to be this bad guy, but you can't help but love him because
love him.
The people he comes across, he actually feels for.
Yeah,
but he also loves his sister, right? So
they did him dirty in season 8. I hate what they did. So I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back to season 8 real quick because that actually pisses me off. Really makes me mad. Like he was. Whatever happened with Cersei, whatever. He found his love, Brienne. They finally did their thing, which is awesome. And then he just gets up and says some hurtful shit to her. I feel so bad. And he goes back to Cersei. Fuck Cersei at this point. She's gonna lose. And then he dies for no reason. Poor Tyrion has to go and cover their bodies. So yeah, that makes me mad. But back to season 7. I'll give season 7 like a solid B. It's a good season. I don't think it's the best of the top tier seasons, but I'll give it a B.
Yeah, see, I think I'm A.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like it's just oh, I'm cropping it. How do I do this? Let me do that. Let me delete it and then reopen it. Yeah, I don't know. It's something about these later seasons. Like, it's probably all the action that happens in them.
Well, they didn't have any source material to go off of, so they had to do something.
And I think it's just like the culmination of everything coming together why I like these seasons so much. And I know there's flaws in the plot and doesn't follow the books because the books aren't there anymore and all the prophecies and all that kind of stuff. But they're just great TV. If you just like take the lore away and just watch it for what it is, they're just such good TV.
Yeah, dude. Very, very good TV.
All right. Well, we might as well go with season 6 because we're talking about it a little bit. So
yes. Right. This is where I was talking about the Sept of Baelor getting exploded by the wildfire.
Yeah.
And that's another one of the best songs in Game of Thrones history, is the song that plays while she's putting all of her black clothes on. Like, I can hear the music in my head right now. It's just done so well. It's perfect. So go on, continue. I'm sorry.
No, I was just about to, like I said, I watched a summary, so I just made some bullet points. So at the end of season 5, Jon's killed, and then in this season, he's brought back to life.
Yeah, he is.
I'm not the biggest fan of Jon Snow, so when I saw that happen, this season automatically goes low on the list because of the plot armor surrounding this guy.
But it's all right for Beric Dondarrion to get resurrected.
Well,
there's a red priestess right there. It's Melisandre.
Yeah.
He gives birth to shadow babies that murder people.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was finally happy that he died and then he came back. So this whole season, like, it does a lot. Like, Arya goes blind and she does all that training in the season, which is kind of a little. It's kind of boring, but it kind of like
bad. The wave's super annoying.
It's kind of important though because of like how it ends, right? If you really think about it that way. Ramsay ends up
died in that canal.
Yeah,
or the open gut wound.
Yeah.
Talk about plot armor.
Yeah, well, Arya is my favorite character, I think. So, yeah. So Ramsay ends up killing his dad because he realizes that he has no. I think he has like a son born, and Ramsay's a bastard, so he doesn't have. He's not going to be the heir. And then a really important thing happens. Euron Greyjoy returns and basically takes over the Greyjoy fleet, which is huge in the story. And then I also wrote down Jon and Sansa reunite, which is pretty significant. It's really the first time they've seen each other since Jon left at the beginning of the show. I think I'll leave it there for now. I have a lot of. I'll just keep going, I guess. So
Battle of the Bastards.
Yeah. So Littlefinger kind of is at the Vale this whole time, kind of recruiting an army for Sansa, because that guy, for whatever reason, loves all the Stark women. It seems like.
Yes, sir.
So that plays a very significant part later on. Some of the other things I wrote down: Dany kills all the Khals and becomes the new kind of Dothraki king or queen, which is really significant. Kind of owns that entire fleet, or that whole army, I should say, which is huge in the battle. And then you do learn that the children of the forest did create their first White Walker, which was pretty significant. So you have that whole storyline and that whole scene that happens. And they basically turned him into a White Walker in the hopes that they could control that, but then obviously that all goes south.
Yeah, they were made to fight humans, correct?
Yeah. And then going on Dany's storyline, all the masters from the slaves she freed end up and attack Meereen. And then she basically goes down there to talk to them, and they think she's surrendering, but then she comes in with dragons and kills them all. So
yeah,
spoiler alert, she's kind of nuts. And then you have Battle of the Bastards, which isn't my favorite battle. I know a lot of people like that, but it's between the Jon Snow and Ramsay, two of my least favorite characters probably in the entire season or show. Basically battle it out, and then that's where the Vale army kind of comes and saves them when they're all surrounded. So pretty big by Littlefinger coming through there, even though it kind of serves him. And then I put the change of Sansa ... So I think throughout the show, early on, she's kind of soft, right? She's just a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in this season's kind of like her big turning point where she becomes kind of a badass. And like really could handle herself. Obviously, everything she went through led up to it. And then I also said that Jon becomes the king of the North.
King of the North?
Yeah, the North. And then Tommen, who's the king, kills himself.
Yeah,
that happens after Cersei puts off that huge explosion and kills everyone basically.
Yeah,
so
spare everyone. She takes everyone out.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bastards is pretty cool. Rickon zigged when he should have zagged.
It's so funny. He just runs in a direct straight
line like idiot. What are you doing? That dude's toying with you.
This is another one of those seasons that go ahead.
R.I.P. Wan.
Yeah.
The big giant who's badass. He was so cool. That was it's another good season. Like that.
It's another season where like everything's coming together, right? And this leads up to what happens in season 7. So I think it's, for me, probably higher than season 1. So I'd probably put it in B, but I don't like it as much as season 7. So
I agree with you. It's B tier. Just those last 2 episodes of that season really, really bring it together for me. I know, again, like the whole Waif Arya storyline. I love the Faceless Man idea. It's done better in the books for sure than it is in the TV series. So I kind of feel like they did her a little dirty there because Arya is pretty badass. But I was glad that ended and she came back to Westeros. So yeah, I think it's a B. It's a solid B. We also forgot to talk about Ed Sheeran in season 7. Just popping up out of nowhere. Like, what's going on here? But it's a good poignant scene for Arya to see that she's not just killing enemies, they're human beings too, which is kind of cool. But all right, again, that was season 7, not season 6. See, I can go back now. Now that we're talking about it, I'm gonna
and I'm sure people in the comments are gonna be like, "Oh, you didn't talk about this," but like,
there's so much.
Yeah, there's so much. You're talking about years and years of television.
All right, so we got 3 more.
I think we have season 2, 3, and 5.
All right, let's do season 2. Let's see. Oh yeah, dude. Battle of Blackwater Bay. One of the best episodes, season 2. Stannis Baratheon gets his ass kicked by Tyrion and his chain boon. Davos Seaworth is an absolute G. I really do enjoy him. You see Stannis Baratheon for the first time, Melisandre for the first time in this season. Ygritte for the first time in this season. Jon Snow gets captured by, he goes out with the wildlings to Craster's Keep. You met Gilly for the first time here. They go on the Great Ranging to the Fist of the First Men. This is the first season where we actually see the undead army attacking. That's the last episode. Sam's hiding behind a rock, scared shitless. But the whole Night's Watch storyline starts fleshing out a little bit more. Obviously, Jon Snow becomes a brother of the Night's Watch with Sam. Joffrey is obviously king right now. He makes it his life's mission to torture Sansa. Tyrion actually is made Hand of the King in this season. Goes up and does what Tyrion does in King's Landing. This is a solid season. I enjoy it. Oh yeah, Theon goes to
He
this
takes
is where
Winterfell and
this
goes
he takes
absolutely nuts.
Winterfell.
Yeah.
He goes kills poor Rorik, just like hacks his fucking head off. Goes absolutely insane. He does. Like I don't know what the hell he was thinking. He's burning poor kids to death. This is where Bran escapes with Hodor and starts his journey north with Jojen and Mira Reed. So it's a great season. Again, it's not the most action-packed season. I think Blackwater is their first big real like battle. I think it's done very well. It's a good season.
And Renly Baratheon's killed in this season.
The Shadow Baby.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Robert Baratheon was the king. He dies. His older brother Stannis kind of claims to be the rightful heir, and that Joffrey, the current king, is a bastard child, so shouldn't be king.
Born of incest.
Yeah, born of incest, and then
an abomination.
Not bad. Yeah, incest, and then Renly is the younger brother and is more liked. So he kind of goes and says, I have claimed to be king. And then by dark magic, like you said earlier, Stannis basically kills Renly, who is married to Marjorie Tyrell, who then goes on to marry Joffrey. Yeah.
Who then goes on to marry Tommen.
Yeah, and then marries Tommen. Yeah.
There's a lot of weirdness going on too. She wants to watch her brother and the king get it on. There's a whole lot, and all that comes in later on when season 6, when they all start getting arrested, or season 5, I think it is. Start getting
and then like Daenerys in the season, like her dragons get stolen, all that stuff, and she goes nuts. And then
that's at the House of the Undying. They go to Quarth. Dude, it's just there's so much going on. Yeah, she's walking the Dothraki's wasteland without Drogo, trying to find places to live. Yeah, so again, these seasons are so epic and big, and just it's again, and that side of the story really doesn't interest me as much. That she never did. I don't know why that storyline didn't really do it for me. Maybe it's just because it was all like desert shots and whatnot. Just not my.
Yeah, it's a slow build up, right? Like it's just like six whole seasons until she like finally gets to where she's supposed to go.
Yeah.
Like she could have gone back seasons earlier, but then decides to stay. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna give this one. I think it's higher than season 1 because you get a lot more action and the story moves along a little bit quicker. Like, so that's like it's funny because the books too, like Game of Thrones, the first book, the series is called The Song of Ice and Fire, and A Game of Thrones is the first book. The first book is very localized and like just in-house for those few characters.
Yeah.
It was the smallest amount of point of views in any of the dude's books, so it's just like a microcosm of what's going on in the entire kingdom. And then it starts opening up in season 2, and then it really explodes like season 3 and 4. So yeah, I think that's a solid. Well, I said B, right?
You didn't say anything. You said you think it's higher than 1.
Yeah, can I do B? Actually, I'm gonna do in between B and C.
Yeah, I'm probably there with you.
Okay.
See, I told you when we said we were gonna do this, I told you season 1 was down there. You didn't wanna hear that.
I didn't. Well, you said you were gonna put it in the Y tier, bro.
Yeah. Well,
there's the difference between Y and C.
It's not the best watch, but it's so significant, right? I remember the first time I watched season 1, I was falling asleep every single time, and it took me 2 years to finally get to watch season 1. So
I mean, I watch it for the witty dialogue, like get the breastplate stretcher.
Yeah.
I start the joust before I shit myself. Like there's just like so many good, like Robert Baratheon. Any scene that Mark Addy's in, where he's like talking about how strong he was, and when he like killed his first guy, and when him and Cersei have the talk about like, 17 years, and he goes, what's keeping it all together, and she says the marriage, and they both laugh, like shit like that. Like there's a lot of good dialogue.
There's
a ton of season 1 dialogue is probably the best dialogue.
Because that's all there is dialogue, right?
Yeah, and so it's just oh yeah, it's good. Thanks for thanks for that, PoNGa.
So season 3, I actually didn't write all that much down. That's probably the least I wrote down. So It's really where Dany heads the Astapor and frees all the slaves, which is pretty significant for several seasons. She's building her army, basically, right? So she's freeing them, and then by freeing them, they basically, all these places she goes, join her army. So basically making them slaves to fight for her. Yeah. Um, so then this season is really focused on the Theon torture arc I wrote. That whole thing, which is just
with the sausage.
Yeah, it's just not my favorite. And then obviously a huge part of this is Jamie being a prisoner. He eventually gets his hand cut off, which is pretty significant because he gets his sword wielding hand cut off, which is huge because of how important battling is to someone like him.
He's probably the best swordsman in the Seven Kingdoms at that point in time.
Yeah, the Kingslayer. I wrote Dario joins Dany, which is not the biggest thing that happens, but it's pretty funny
huge.
that
they knock boots for seasons, bro.
Yeah. And then I think the obviously big thing in here, and we didn't talk about it with season 2, but Robb Stark is kind of like, to me, like
kicking ass.
In season 2, Robb, he's really marching towards King's Landing, leading the army. He's kind of, in my opinion, during that time, probably the most loved character once Ned Stark dies, right? And he's like, he would have been the absolute perfect king. He's just so smart. He knows how to run an army.
Is he though?
Well,
is he
at time, right? Like during that time, right? And then season 3, the reason I brought that up, season 3, the Red Wedding happens where
yes, sir.
Robb is killed at a wedding, and we all know what happens there.
I love how Caitlyn grabs Ramsay Bolton's arm and realizes that she's got chainmail, and she slaps him, and he just eats the slap and like smiles at her.
Yep.
It's so cold, dude. It's done so you can hear them play the Reigns of Castamere. Like, it's just done. Like, that's one of the best. You got the Hounds with Arya at this time. The Hound gets away from the Brotherhood. The Brotherhood without banners, which is done by Beric Dondarrion. Beric Dondarrion gets killed and brought back to life by Thoros of Myr. Yeah, dude. The Bear and the Maiden Fair. You know, Jamie saves Brienne from getting eaten by a bear. From Vargo Holt and stuff. It's done. It's just another extremely well done season. Lots of excitement. Yeah, you get the Queen of Thorns comes in finally. This is where she gets the Unsullied, I think. Daenerys picks the Unsullied up in this season. She did, like you said, she marches around, just takes all, or is that season 2? No, it's season 3.
Think it might be I think so.
Yeah, season 3. Yeah, so she gets the Unsullied in this season. So again, storyline continues. Bigger things are happening. Not a big, huge battle scene in this one, but the Reigns of Castamere, you know, the Red Wedding definitely takes that for you.
Red Wedding is probably like a top 3 most iconic thing that happens.
After I watched that, when she screams at the end and the dude comes up and cuts her throat and it just goes to like black screen, I felt weird after that. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like, she kills out of the chick and just screams in like agony, and just they offer, and it's just done so brutally, man. Like, that's what Game of Thrones is all about. It's just fucking brutal. It's so good. I love it. This season I'll give,
I don't know where I want to put it. I want to hear what you just say first.
I mean, the Red Wedding is so...
Yeah, the Red Wedding itself is like...
It's just so crazy.
Yeah, and like the whole culmination of that, right? Like, I think Robb's supposed to marry one of Walter Frey's
many daughters,
yeah, and
he finds the nurse.
He decides to marry someone else, and that's...
So in the book, she's not a nurse, and she's not a foreigner. In the book, she's from the Crag, which is so her father and brother and all them fought for the Lannisters, and then they switched sides and now are fighting for the Northmen. and then they get married, and then but she's not there. Like there's no baby in the books. That doesn't happen. She doesn't get murdered in the books. She gets taken back by the mother. So it's like it's completely different. Like
it's dramatic, right?
Yeah, they took
like
a
they
lot
walk
of
up and they
liberties. Like,
stab the baby, right?
Oh yeah, like Jorah Mormont doesn't get grayscale in the books. It's a guy named John Covington who was the old hand of the king for the Mad King back in the day. So things change. Like if you haven't read the books and you've watched the show, you need to read the books, PoNGa, or at least book on tape them, because the guy who does books on tape, it's Roy Dotrice. He does the voice. I love anything with voices, and listening to British accents speaking in your ear for hours at a time is like some of the most relaxing, cool shit ever. So I do enjoy that. I'm gonna give this a B. This is a B.
Yeah, I think B is pretty good as well.
And you said we weren't gonna have a lot to talk about this. We're crushing it.
Yeah, I mean it's good TV, man.
That's it.
What is it? This one?
It's good YouTube, baby. Oh, season 5.
It's it's your turn to go. You want me to talk about it?
Oh no, I can talk about Hardhome. That's what I'm gonna say about season 5. Obviously Jon Snow gets, stabbed to death in this season. But that episode of Hardhome where you see the Night King raise all the dead, where he just came in, the absolute shit house, the living. It's eerie too. Like the one chick sees all the kids and just like she's a badass fighter and then just gets killed by the kids. The Thens are fighting, like they don't like each other because they're wildlings. They're all fighting against these, the undead. When you just see the undead start launching themselves off the cliffs and it's just endless undead, like it's just so well done. I think this is where they bring in, I don't like the Sand Snake so much. Although some of the lines they say are great when they're whispering in Bron's ear and stuff like that. Like that's all fun. I think, Sons of the Harpy. So this is, they kill Barris and Selmy in this too, which is upsetting. It was a shame that character got off the way he did. He's one of the greatest knights ever too, in Westeros, and he gets killed by a harpy with a knife. Arya goes to the House of Black and White in this. She's in Braavos now. Tyrion's in Braavos now, or Tyrion's in Pentos actually, with Varys. They go meet up with Daenerys in this season. So I know a lot of people hate this season. I think traditionally this is the season that is the worst on people's lists of seasons.
The High Sparrow.
Yeah, the High Sparrow comes in. So the Faith Militant in the book are so much cooler than they are here. Like they dress like they're like emo kids in brown shifts with baseball bats with nails driven through them. Like that stuff is rough to watch.
John becomes Lord Commander.
Yeah, John becomes Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, which is all Sam Tarly's doing. Stannis
burns his daughter.
Yeah, Shireen, dude.
And then
he gets killed by Brianna Tarth. Well, they get beat up by the Boltons, but dude, that was hard to watch too.
Yeah, well, the reason they got beat up is because he burned his daughter and half the army left.
Yeah, half the army left. Yeah. Melisandre really screwed him there.
Yeah.
This is the season where you see Melisandre as old Melisandre, and you're like, oh no, she's not this hot redhead. She's this old crow, man. So it's pretty gross. I don't know. So now that we've ranked these other seasons, and now we're talking about this season and what's going on here, I'd probably rank this around C tier.
I agree.
Season. I don't think it's much higher than that. Again, there's no D tiers for me because there are standalone episodes in each season. I think season 5 gets a bad rap because the season before you literally lose Tywin, and Joffrey. So you lose like 3 of the powerhouse, and 2 of those characters were there from season 1. Tywin dying is a huge hit, like acting wise. He's just so calm, cool, and collected. It's just done so well. Even when he's about to get shot by his son on the shitter, that's so great. yeah, you are no son of mine. And he's just like dying and smelling like poop. Like in the book, it's funny. He goes, and then he goes, and I got to see if my father did indeed shit gold. And it's just like, that's what he says. And it's awesome.
That's
Um,
hilarious.
all right. So I think that's our tier list for Game of Thrones seasons 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 4,
so
5,
we have
6.
House of the Dragon as the highest rated one, which I agree with.
Yeah.
We actually have season 4, the second highest, and then that is also the next two are season 8 and 7, which is probably because of me. But yeah, I mean, every season has its own things in it that, if someone told me this is my favorite season, maybe besides like season 5, I'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. So yeah, it gets, now Game of Thrones, the way it ended, it gets way too much hate. It is, if not the best, one of the best TV series of all time. So
yeah, absolutely. It's one of the best, probably the best TV series of our time.
yeah,
it's awesome.
people just like to hate on it because it's a cool thing to do, I think.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's 100%. Like a lot of it. Again, they rushed it. They wanted it out of that contract too. I think that was a lot of it. I think there was bad optics around it all as well. So that pisses people off. And then people get on bandwagons and whatnot. But yeah, so that's our tier list, and we are gonna hop real quick right into hot D2, baby.
Yeah, we don't want to talk. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it with you because you know what happens.
I
like,
do know what
I have
happens.
an idea, but like, so
get good.
Spoiler. Woo! At the end of season 1, basically the wars really started, right? Like, and we just know that everything's leading to a lot of battle, right? And specifically battle with dragons, which is always really cool to see. So
the dance of the dragons, baby.
Yeah, it's I don't want to talk too much about it, but yeah, I'm super excited to see how Rhaenyra reacts to her son being killed. Even though it was like halfway an accident. Like,
that
I don't know
scene in the end of season 1 where Aemon kills him and it looks like it's done by, you could see it in his face. He's like, oh
yeah,
fuck.
that's what I'm saying. It's like kind of acting like I was messing with you, then your dragon blew fire at my dragon, and then my dragon eats
Vhagar
you.
just went.
Yeah, Vhagar eats,
dude.
Yeah,
like it's just like Godzilla waking up too. Like I love.
Yeah, they're kids that couldn't control their dragons yet, right? So
yeah, it's so good. Season 2, so like season 1, like you said, like the first couple episodes are good. It really hits its stride in the last couple episodes when they do the time jump. Season 2 is going to be nutty. Like right away too, it's going to be nutty. There's going to be things that happen that are going to like blow some shit that happened in the original Game of Thrones series right out of the water. Like shocking, awesome. Dude, it's just, there's just so much cool stuff, PoNGa.
And we get to watch it Sunday. And the best part is,
so close.
The best part is, like, yeah, we mainly talk about, and this episode's a little different, we mainly talk about video games and Pokemon or TCGs. But I mean, at this point, Game of Thrones is so old that we're kind of like nostalgic about it at this point. So
yeah.
Every episode we record, we're basically going to be able to talk about 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, which is super cool. So,
and we will be, because we both really enjoy it. I think it's going to add a little extra wrinkle to the show.
We won't go in depth like this and make it a whole episode, but we'll talk like for 10 or 15 minutes. So
yeah, it's just going to be good. And like you said, once we hit some of the cool stuff in it, it's just, I can't wait for some dragon on dragon warfare. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we're done with Game of Thrones, everyone. I promise you. And we are. Hold on, let me pull some stuff up. Let's see where we're at. Oh, okay. I do need my little notepad here again. All right, so next segment is beer pong. To, I guess, celebrate the announcement of Glory to Team Rocket. Beer pong this week is going to be Team Rocket versus Team Rocket Returns. So yeah, we're going to get at it that way. Oh, did you just close that down? Or did I close that down?
I did.
Oh, look at you. Look at you. So Team Rocket Returns. EX, obviously. I think PoNGa's taking Team Rocket Returns, and I am doing regular Team Rocket. So
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you're going to let me go first? Well, first of all, Team Rocket, 5th main expansion, 83 cards, You can actually see the art. Good artists make the arts for these cards. They're not a big black poopy smear on a card. I don't know what to say, man. I hate those cards so much. Team Rocket is a stronger set than Team Rocket Returns. I don't know how people can say Team Rocket Returns are their favorite set. They must be blind or super nostalgic for it because the art is not that great. I don't know. I have such a problem with it. Team Rocket introduced Dark Pokemon. Dark Raichu, obviously the first secret rare. Dude, the Here Comes Team Rocket card's badass. Dark Blastoise is badass. Dark Gyarados might be the best dark card of all time. Also a big fan of Dark Slowbro. You can actually see the Pokemon in the card arts, which is fantastic. I don't think I need to say anymore. What can I say? What can I say, dude?
Not all the EXs are that dark, man. I'm looking at it right now. Like, a lot of them are, right? Like Scyther, yeah, Scizor is pretty bad. Zapdos is pretty dark, but you can still see Zapdos. I mean, it's got Team Rocket Returns has
CG art looks terrible.
I mean, Team Rocket Returns has some of the biggest cards of all time, right? Like it has obviously the Gold Stars, Mudkip, Torchic, Trico, which I think we learned when we did the EX tier list. I'm not the biggest Gold Star fan, but it's just like an added chase bonus, right? That for a set, which I know Team Rocket has the first secret rare, but
Dark Raichu is a badass.
It's an awesome card. But it's like, nothing there's like really chase worthy in my opinion, which is the case with a lot of like the early WotC sets. But like it also has like Rocket Snorlax. It has the secret Charmeleon, which is awesome. Yeah. And like when you look at it, I know, shout out to Ray. He was on our last podcast and kind of saved the episode. He just bought a Rockets Mewtwo and he made a video about that on his YouTube channel, Shining Cards and Collectibles. Go check that out on his pickups. But the Rockets Mewtwo is just beautiful in person. And that's just a card you just never see. I think raw, it's several $100s. And then you like go to like just like the regular non-EX cards. I mean, if you like Dark Pokemon, which I think everyone's excited about with the new Team Rocket set. I mean, you have Dark Crobat, Dark Ampharos, Dark Hypno, Dark Houndoom. You have Dark Steelix, all these different cards. Dark Tyranitar. Let's see, Dark Gyarados, which is an awesome card. You just Dark Dragonair, all these cards. It's just, I think when we rated Team Rocket Returns in the EX tier list, we didn't rate it as high as like Fire Red, Leaf Green.
It was low, I think. It was low.
Yeah.
C, B and a half or something like
that.
But
like it is just like when you compare it to the original Team Rocket, I think the original Team Rocket is probably more iconic. But that's just because it came first. I think Team Rocket Returns just does the Team Rocket theme better.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
Dark Metal Energy. Dark Metal Energy is a sick card, and it's just an energy card.
PoNGa's simping on energy cards here, ladies and gentlemen. This podcast is about to fucking explode. What? Look at this Dark Metal Energy. This card is so hot. He's talking about Rockets Mewtwo EX, and then he's talking about Dark Metal Energy. So I just looked up Rockets Mewtwo EX. It had a little bump in price. It was sitting at like 160 for a while on TCG Player. Raw, like heavy played Raw, just sold one on yesterday, 49. So it's crazy, like what the prices of those cards are doing, even heavy play. So yeah, there's that's our beer pong. I still think that is probably one of the worst EX sets. I don't know. And I guess I'm just not nostalgic for the old EX sets. Like you said, for a while, I was like, man, I really like to get in the Gold Stars. I have zero want to get to the Gold Stars now because I like you said, like they're cool. They're just not. They're cool because of what they are, not like art wise or like it's just because of what they are, like what they were for the hobby. And they're probably bringing them back. I wouldn't doubt that they don't bring them back with this new set.
Some full art Gold Stars. Let's do it.
That will be cool. Like full art Gold Stars, like you're going to hit a little different there. That's going to be awesome. So before we leave this segment, what are your thoughts on that set coming out? What do you think it's
to be completely honest with you, like I haven't watched any content about that set at all. And I think I only heard about it. Like I haven't been on Discord at all. So I didn't really know about it until I was like, I think like Dan put it in his title or something, and I watched that live or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And so it made me look at it a little bit. Yeah, but I mean, hey, people love Team Rocket. People love Dark Pokemon. People like that era of Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they do it right, is where I'll leave it.
Yes.
I hope they don't just do what they're currently doing and add like 2 or 3 dark Pokemon or two Team Rockets blank Pokemon. And they actually maybe do gold stars, and maybe that's like the gimmick of the generation. I know like mega Pokemon are coming back, or they're rumored to be coming back. So it'll be pretty interesting how, if they do bring back something like gold stars, if that's like a prolonged thing, or they're going to only do it for that set or something. So we'll see. I mean, it's anytime you have a Team Rocket set, it's like, oh, I got my wallet ready, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, hey, English is probably going to be really cool, but the one thing Japanese does really well is they do themed sets really well, EV Heroes, stuff like that, where the entire set, like the English set might contain cards that are outside of just the Team Rocket just to fill it out. Like the Japanese set, if they like do a Team Rocket box and it looks like has the Team Rocket logo all over it and all this stuff, like, and it's completely themed around those Pokemon, it could be really cool.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like Pokemon Center ETBs. They could do
Yeah.
the ETBs really well. All ancillary products could be very, definitely very good for Pokemon. But all right, let's see. That's beer pong, everyone. We're moving on to the next segment. So we're doing a couple different segments this week. This one is another new segment that we're gonna be, hitting back and forth every once in a while. But it's video game banter. Obviously, like we said, it's Pokemon and video games. PoNGa brought to my attention. I don't know how I missed it. There's a million different things going on, but the new Gears of War is coming out. Gears of War E-Day. We're going back to Dom and Marcus. I am pumped. I just watched the trailer with PoNGa earlier. I got goosebumps watching it. Mad World came on. For people who don't know, that is the song that played during the first trailer for Gears of War when he's running through the streets and all the bodies of ashes are just like falling apart. I love the Twitch gameplay style of Gears of War. I love taking my Nasher and melting people with it. I was a big Gears of War 3 player. I played a lot of hours on Gears of War 3. Gears of War 2 as well, but 3 was my big one. I love it, dude. I love that it's still an Xbox exclusive too, which is awesome because they don't have too many of those anymore. I'm amped for it. It looks like it's going to be a great game. I guess they said they're going to bring the horror aspect back to it a little bit more, which is awesome. The first game was a little more eerie and a little more horror centric. But what are your thoughts on Gears of War E-Day?
Yeah, I was never a big Gears player, but I'll try it. I mean, I played it here and there when I was younger, but I was always more of a Call of Duty Halo guy. Never, I wouldn't say not, like the third person type stuff just never appealed to me as much. I used to actually watch a lot of the competitive Gears of War stuff just because
it's impressive.
Yeah, I was a big Optic Gaming fan, so they their team house, the owner, the CEO Hex, he lived close by me growing up, so I always was a huge fan of them. And they had the most dominant team. I mean, they won everything for years, so always watched that stuff competitively. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it a try. Everything's on Game Pass now, so
yeah, everything.
Yeah, I mean, I could spend $15 just to try it, along with all the other games that are going to be on Game Pass as well. So
Game Pass plug here. If you don't have Game Pass and you have an Xbox, you're missing out.
Yeah, I mean, Call of Duty's on a day one, all the stuff's on a day one, and
and if you have a PC, you can still, and it's a Windows PC, you still have access to the Game Pass and all those.
Yeah, and your first month's like $1, and I think you used to be able to do it where, let's say you have like 10 months left on your Xbox Live membership, you could like transfer it to like Ultimate, which includes Game Pass for like $1, and it transfers your entire Live membership to Ultimate, so you only pay like $1 for the entire time. I don't know if you could still do that, but you used to be able to extend it out like 2 or 3 years and then get Ultimate for like $1. But yeah, it looks pretty cool, so I'm excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then Call of Duty, Black Ops 6. It was announced already, but they showed some gameplay. If you like Cold War, it kind of looks very similar to Cold War. It's Treyarch. I think it's like the first time ever where they had like 3 or 4 years of a full development on the game. So anyone that's familiar with Treyarch, they make the best games in my opinion. They're really focused towards competitive, which I'm a huge fan of. So in the trailer, what they mentioned
they had a 3-year development cycle on that.
So they haven't made a game since Cold War. So they had Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it was like over 3 years because they probably started working on it before that.
Yeah, because they have like 4 studios now. They have Sledgehammer Games. They have a couple other studios.
Yeah, and then they basically said that they're bringing back 3-lane maps. So anyone that's big in multiplayer, the old maps used to have like 3 main lanes. So they're moving back to that instead of like all this clutter and all these different tunnels and stuff you could get behind people. So they're bringing back kind of the old style of Call of Duty. And then they actually announced, like, Treyarch always does like one big thing that's different from all the other Call of Duty games. And they have this thing called omnidirectional movement. So you're basically able to sprint or dive in any direction. So you can actually sprint backwards while you're like looking forward. And you're you're able to dive and roll in all directions. So you pretty much have full control of what your character does.
Nice.
So
should be looking forward to that too.
If Call of Duty does it right, like the one thing that Call of Duty always does right is how smooth it feels compared to like other shooters. So hopefully they do it right. But I got the utmost faith in Treyarch to do things right. So, and they're bringing back the old prestige system. So that's huge. I mean, I don't know if anyone plays now, but you get capped at the season. So you have like season 1 will be up to like level 200 or whatever. It's just stupid. And they're bringing back the old 10 prestige system. And then once you reach that, you go to prestige master and could go up to level 1000. So really excited about that as well.
Get this man some new pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any new games you've been playing recently?
Yeah. So kind of from the competitive Call of Duty world, anyone that's been in that world, Aches, who is one of like the best players of all time, has been working with Ubisoft to develop X Defiant. So X Defiant just officially released after being pushed back for months and months. I played the beta, like it seems like a year or a year and a half ago at this point, and it finally released. I know I texted you to hop on and play, and it's just like it's an arcadey shooter, right? There's no skill-based matchmaking. So I go into a game and I absolutely dominate and slam people like I used to be able to do in Call of Duty. The movement's very quick. You're able to like jump in the air and like move back and forth in the air and strafe. So you're able to really outmaneuver people. And then it has like a bunch of abilities, which at times are super annoying, especially when your team isn't very good. But
think of like Overwatch.
Yeah, like Overwatch abilities. Yeah,
they have an escort mode, which is definitely Overwatch.
Yeah,
it's like I won't say an Overwatch clone. It's very close to Overwatch, but it's like M16s and M4s and like modern weaponry. I love it. I'm having a ton of fun playing it. I play. I don't delete my account. Keep my everything going on here. So I'm a 28. PoNGa's probably like a 4 now. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was a level 50 and I unlinked my account to try to get Twitch drops, and I don't know the login, so I had to restart my account.
It's a sad day for PoNGa.
Yeah,
it's a sad day. Fun game, sad day. Yeah, game's fun. Cool leveling up system. Lots of every weekend now. I think for the first season at least, or season 0. They're doing 2x weapons boost and XP boost, so it's fun.
I think season 1 comes out in July, beginning of July, and they're going to have prestiges, new weapons, new maps, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, hopefully a few different character and like character abilities thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure you'll get that later on too. Yeah, but it's fun for now, dude. I definitely like it. It's probably the mainstay. I've kind of stopped playing Call of Duty. Not been having so much fun with that. Actually deleted it off my computer because it was just taking up too much space. So hopefully maybe new Call of Duty brings me back into. I need something to bring me back.
I'll be playing it, so
then I guess I'll be playing it too, PoNGa. That's how
if they mention skill-based matchmaking and not being a thing anymore, Call of Duty is back.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Yeah, but I don't think Treyarch has say in that. That's an Activision thing. But
all right. Well, that's our video game banter, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on, we have 2 more segments left. We're about to go into hot takes. It's about to get pretty spicy up in here.
Yeah, so I'll start because yours is just
mine's awesome.
Yours is ridiculous. Yeah, I won't put it how I wrote it there, but I think yellow.
Why don't you put it as you wrote it? Say it.
Yeah, so yellow borders are ass.
Are they though?
I think I'll just leave it there. That's all I want to say. Yellow borders are awful. They're ugly. And I think we all know now that silver borders are better. There's a reason why like these full art cards and alt arts never had the yellow border. Like, could you imagine like the character rare cards like having the yellow border, and then you compare them to like the Japanese counterpart with the gray border, like how much better they look?
It looks so much better.
It's not even comparable. Like, yes, don't get me wrong, the cards are still beautiful, but something about the yellow just takes away from the art. All those people that love artists, you should appreciate that the borders are now dull and you could just focus on what's happening in the card.
All right. There you go. PoNGa.
The best change Pokemon's ever made.
I don't disagree. I grew up with the yellow border card.
Yeah, the yellow borders are iconic. I get it.
Are they? They couldn't think of anything better to do. Japanese cards have been killing it for years. Like anytime there was a different kind of border, people are like, "Oh man, that border is so cool!" Like for years. So I don't know. I'm with you on that. All right, my hot take. I'm not gonna have it written here but
no,
Miley Cyrus could take Taylor Swift in a fight. I don't know. It could be a fight of voices. It could be a fight of fists. But Miley Cyrus is better than Taylor Swift. I will die on that hill. I don't care. Taylor Swift's overrated. I know PoNGa's blood is boiling. He's probably telepathically talking to Dan right now how to take Beerski down. I'm so tired of hearing about Taylor Swift, and I would just love to see Miley Cyrus come wrecking ball her. That's all I got to say. Who's that Pokemon?
This past weekend I watched the Eras Tour movie for the 4th time all the way through. Judge me.
This is what's happening. You have watched the 4th time. Did you gain anything new out of it on the 4th watch?
My thing is like you can't say anything negative about it unless you've seen it.
Well, I'm never gonna watch the Eras Tour TV show.
When I come to New Jersey, we're putting it on, baby. Let's go.
Oh, we could put. You know what? We'll just. I'll get the big screen out before we play Mario Kart tournament. We'll put that on. We'll get everyone all amped up. That's good stuff. All right. And to finish this up, we have our final segment, which is who is that Pokemon? Let me present this. Share screen. Who's that Pokemon? It's Miltank. I'm awesome.
Oh, Miltank, got it. Now you're up.
Yeah, I'm awesome. Let's see. Boom. All right.
Oh man. What's why not? Why not?
How do you spell that?
It's Wob. You don't have to, just put I don't know. It's Wobbuffet baby form.
Oh. Look at you. Oh man.
I know it. It's like black, gray, and reddish.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Zorua. Yeah. I knew that one. You didn't even let me guess. Togetic, whichever one you want to. Let's do one more each. Let's do one more each.
Oh, is this Parasect?
No.
Oh, it's Weeble. I'm terrible.
You don't even let me guess yours.
I don't want to let you go. You're too good at this. Go on.
Oh, is this so there's 3 different ones and I don't know which one this is. There's Pansage, Panpour or something, and I don't know. It's one of those.
Panseer?
Pansage. Yeah, I knew it's one of those. I never know which one's Swablu.
That was mine, PoNGa. What a jerk. Oh my Tornadus.
All right, I'm done. I don't want to get anything wrong. I'm done.
Venusaur. I'm better than you. I said it quicker. Groudon. Man, I'm really good at this.
Yeah, take all the easy ones.
I don't know that one, so you can have it.
What's that bird's name? I could picture it. It's black, blue, yellow, I think, right?
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
There you go. Full torb.
All right, we're done.
So all right, we're done. No more Who's That Pokemon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Box Nostalgia episode 8. Thank you all for being here. We just had a ton of fun doing this. If you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification.
Yeah, wait, one thing. I know this comes out Thursday, but Wednesday night we're going to be on Cardboard Hands channel. So Retro just posted that live. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out that. It's pretty surreal. That's probably my favorite podcast to listen to right now. So they do a really good job, Josh and Nick.
They do a great job.
And they always keep it fresh, doing new stuff. They do, tier list similar to us, but they kind of cover a whole range of topics. So go check that out. I know we're going to be talking about some fun stuff. So
yeah, I think that's to go watch Wednesday that. At 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
4 p.m. Pacific. That'll be 6 p.m. Central. So yeah, definitely be there. Very much looking forward to that.
Well, they can't be there because this comes out after it, but yes.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you for watching yesterday. Very good job if you did that. But yeah, we record Mondays and then we put it out Thursday. That's just how it works out. So again, thank you everyone for being here. Please leave any suggestions, comments, anything down below, obviously. We will try and get back to you. We will get back to you. It's not like we have much else going on. And you guys have yourself a great night, and we'll catch you in 2 weeks. Peace.